When I was a teenager in Miami, Christmases weren't just a holiday, it was a production. My church transformed into a living Bethlehem. We dressed in flowing robes, tunics, and angel wings, and the garden surrounding the massive church turned it into an elaborate streetscape of the first century. It stretched out for blocks, candlelit stone walls, inns, shepherds in the fields, and real live animals. Visitors shuffled past in a slow wander, thousands of them. They were greeted by sights and sounds, and may I dare say the smells from the live animals. And the songs told the story of Jesus' birth. Some sipped cocoa as they walked in, and because I was a soprano, I was always placed with the angels. Year after year, I climbed to the top of the rooftop of the kindergarten building, where we stood in the December chill with our arms raised high, voices soaring heavenward, each time a new wave of sightseers passed below. We sang the same truth the shepherds heard from the heavens. Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth, and goodwill toward men. Back then I thought I was just doing a performance, but now I realize we were giving a rare kind of gift, presence, wonder, and a memory. No wrapping paper, no price tag, just beauty, truth, and the experience of something holy. Good morning. How is everybody at the Create-a-thon today? I hope that you enjoyed Terry's Christmas crackers. Aren't they fun? I want to know who's going to be making those. I know I will be. And so I just kind of gave you a little oversight of what one of my favorite Christmas traditions was. I have many from my family, which I'm very grateful for, but this is the one that I zeroed in on because of the art that I'm going to share with you today. We definitely did a lot of things in those days. And while we were out there, like I said, with our arms stretched and our wings on, singing those beautiful songs, it was cold in Miami. Maybe not cold like it is up north, but for us it was cold. And in those flowy robes on the top of a building, it was quite cold. And we all kind of had little snacks in our robes. And one of the ones that I chose, and I don't know why since it was cold, was on my table. And if you noticed it, put it in the comments, okay? So we're going to get right to it. We're going to be making this beautiful little scene here. And I have kind of researched this little wooden frame, which I taped off so that I could paint it. But I found it at Hobby Lobby, at Michael's, at Walmart. I found a smaller one at Dollar Tree. They're about less than $6. And it's a shadow box. You don't have to use a shadow box. I just happened to do it. And when I did my background, you will notice I have this little tab here because it's very difficult to get the background out after you put it in. Now, if that's what you're going to leave in there permanently, then that's fine. But that is one little tip that I can tell you that was helping. I see, let me see if I can swipe back and forth and see some comments. I'm so glad that you guys are here today. And so far, it's been really wonderful. Jamie had a cool tutorial with her letters, and then you can use the letters on Terry's crackers. So I'm going to turn you right down. We're going to get right started, okay? Oh, I see comments. Hello. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Jamie, Donna. Oh, Loretta. I'm so glad you guys are here. Nilda. All right, so I'm going to turn you down here and let you see what we're doing. If you saw what little snack I had that was down on my table, give me a comment. And if I don't see any answers, then I will give you another clue. So you got your, if you have downloaded everything that I had in my guide, which is guide number 3, you will see the supply list and the tracer and some other things. And so what I did was I went ahead and put my pattern on just a regular piece of paper. Then I made my background. So I did that because I want to be able to let my background dry a little bit. And what we're going to be doing today is really something fun and different. And we're going to be using an ink wash. But for our background here, I'm going to make sure that you can see. And I'm going to just start with a wet on wet. And this background is going to need, if you use watercolor, it's probably going to need 3 coats. So obviously I'm not going to make you suffer through the drying time of 3 coats, but we're going to do the first coat and then you're going to be able to see what 3 coats looks like. And so I'm using a wet on wet technique with watercolor, and I just have kind of wet everything, and now I'm making sure that it's sort of gently worked into the fibers of the paper. Now you don't want to overdo this because you can ruin the integrity of the paper and it will like pill up. So, and this is why I generally tape my things, but we're not going to do that today. It's going to be just fine. So I'm using this Master's Touch. You do not have to have this kind of watercolor, but I wanted to show you the colors that I'm using on this background, and it's deep blue and blue gray, and that will give you a nice rich evening color for your night sky. And it will also, because of the gray, it'll pull the color from the lambs out, and you'll really be able to have a nice cohesive composition. So often when I would climb onto the third, up the building to the kindergarten, top of the kindergarten building, you know, we all had our little robes on, our wings on. It was quite a thing to try to get up that with the wings. Why, you know, as I've grown up, I thought, why didn't they leave the wings up there and so we could just put them on once we got up there? But we always had to climb those stairs with the wings on. So trying not to get knocked off. Let me get a paintbrush. Try not to knock off the wings and have the wings not knock us off of the staircase was always an interesting thing. But this, the spectacle that we participated in every year was just fantastic. And literally we would have thousands of people come of all ages. They would brave the weather no matter what, because we were out there braving the weather. And there was just probably a mile or so of scenes. And there were camels and horses and sheep, cows. I mean, just, can you name some of the animals that you can imagine would be at a Living Nativity like that? What else can you think of that maybe I have forgotten? I tell you, over the years, they had just about everything. It was just amazing. But just below my little station at the kindergarten building were the sheep. And to me, that was just so perfect. You notice that I'm kind of using a figure 8 brush stroke, so that, because we don't want it just perfect, we want it to be not turbulent, but we want it to look more natural. But just below our station, my station, where the angels were the little lambs. They had sheep, but they always had lambs, and everybody was always so ooh and ah over the lambs. They were just so perfect. And to me, it was just the essence of Christmas, you know. All right, so we've got our background done, and I'm going to go ahead and set this off so that it can dry. And you know me, I already have a prepared one that you don't have to watch dry. So this is actually 3 layers of that same exact style right there. The figure 8, the same combination of the deep blue and the blue-gray colors. So we're gonna have this, and it's going to fit perfectly into our little, I can take this off. I put this on so that I could paint the background. Pulling the tape off is always so satisfying. And it gives you this nice, perfect line. Now I will tell you one little tip that I found. And I put top up here, and I put top up here, so that it goes in there the proper orientation, because these little things are fairly inexpensive, and who knows who they made or how many they made at what time, and they're not always perfectly square. So I did that to, you know, to save me from tearing my hair out for having the wrong size. So I'm going to put this off to the side, because we're not going to need it for a moment. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to teach you how to use the ink wash. And you're going to use a pen that is not permanent. Often, I mean, how many times, if you guys listen to me, if you follow me on Tuesdays at 10 on McNeely Garden Studios, I will say over and over and over and over and over again, please make sure you do not have a pen that will bleed. But today, that's the point. We're going to use a pen that bleeds. So this one happens to be Sharpie S Gel. And I know you would think that Sharpie is a permanent pen, but it's not. This particular one is not. So I traced this with my light box. You can trace it with the pen, or you can trace it with pencil, or whatever you like. I just went ahead and did it with the pen. So now this is the fun part. And this is literally something that you could do with children too, if you want. I have to grab some. You have to use clean water. So don't use your water that you just rinsed your blue out with. And this is just a smallish round. And I'm going to see if I can't get you a little bit closer, because this is where the magic is. All right. So we're going to start off with our little wet brush. And I'll use this one to show you as an example. So we're just going to kind of go and start letting that paint bleed. In fact, I don't need this anymore either. I'll move it. And so if you're looking at this one, their little faces are darker than their body. They have white hair and they have dark faces and dark legs. But I'm going to leave a natural highlight right there. So all I'm doing is painting with water. And put a bridge across there for their eyes. And just leave some natural highlights there. Maybe where the star would be illuminating them. And you don't have to stay in the lines, really. But you want it to be tidy enough so that you can cut it. You see how it's cut with a little, probably 1/8 of an inch edge there. So you want to keep it tidy enough that, you don't go out into that space. And I'm just kind of leaving them a little natural highlight on their forehead where this light would be shining down on them. And then I'm going to go into their little legs. Tell me what your favorite Christmas carol is. The one that gives you goosebumps every time, right? I have several of them that and there's a couple of patriotic songs too. I just can't hardly get through them with dry eyes. They're just so heartfelt. They're just so important to me. So tell me in the comments what your favorite carols are. We had several that we sang at the Living Nativity. While this is still a little bit damp, I'm going to kind of give them some weight, give them some shadow in the ground here, which I'm calling snow. It could be anything. There's sheep everywhere, so it could be in the desert, it could be... And that way, it will kind of bleed down in there. But as I've gotten older, I've started to kind of prepare my life, lighten my load, so that my children will have an easier time. And so I have begun to really enjoy, not so much gifts, although I do love gifts, I do love surprises, but sometimes those things can overwhelm you. And as you get older and you might be downsizing or changing your life a little, maybe the gift of an experience or a song or a gift certificate to go enjoy yourself, to do something, might be more appreciated. And if you have troubles at the holidays, you don't know what to get. Some people are just impossible to buy for anyway. But if you have trouble getting yourself together, figuring out when to do what, figuring out what to get, how to do it, whatever, I have a gift for you. If you download my Christmas survival kit, and I'll show you the inside later, you'll be so happy, because it's going to tell you exactly when to do what and how to keep all those people happy. All right. So, how are your lambs looking? Are they starting to they're starting to really, become lifelike, right? And that's all it took, was just a little bit of water. You just kind of touch the edges and let it bleed. So we're going to move this, and won't be needing that. You will need some scissors and some glue. I've already got my little star here because it's a little bit tedious to cut. And I have to let that dry. I don't want it to run. I thought I had my fan. It's wet one place. I can see it. Be very careful doing this too. You don't want to pick up any more than it should. All right. So you see how the gray in the sheep and the gray in the blue gray in the background? See how it's just beginning a little bit of bluish there. So that makes a nice cohesive color. So what I did, and I did it on the back, was I numbered these so that I will know which one goes all the way down. So we're going to cut this one. When this is over, you will get a step-by-step, so that will kind of give you some ideas. You won't just be left out in the cold, since I know that this one's a little bit more complicated with these numbers. So you're going to go like this and this. And I will tell you that even though you just cut them apart, you should, it feels like you ought to be able to just put them right back together. Since you're leaving a little bit of a space there, you're going to have to finagle it a little bit. And see if you can't, get them a little bit more online. Okay, so this one, the sheep are going to stay on there. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to give it that 1/8 of an inch edge. You can do it quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I would suggest while you're doing this particular one, maybe put some music on, put some Christmas music on, and enjoy yourself. Refresh your memory on some of your childhood, wonders. And just enjoy a little reminiscing, So I have some questions for you. Now I want you to write the answers in the comments. What character did I play at the Living Nativity? And if you remember any detail about it, I'd love to hear that too. What character did I play at the Living Nativity? I'm looking to see. No, I can't see because it's so far down. All right. So when you get these all fixed, figure out where they are. Make sure that you erase the little lines if you have some, and get them all on here so that you have a beautiful little blue line shining through there. It's going to take a little work. And I'm going to let you work on that. And then I took some just glitter glue. This one happens to be Twinkles. I don't have any reason to not show that, but I particularly like that one. And then you will end up with this beautiful little, because I'm calling it snow, you'll see that little extra thing. When you get it all glued together, you'll put it down in here. Make sure that you sign and date and photograph your work so that you always know where it is in your camera roll. Let me get some water. So, I have another question. What animal typically was below my station when I was playing my character? And what favorite treat did I keep in my pocket? And I'm going to come back with some comments with that afterwards. So if you have answered what character did I play as in the Living Nativity, what animal typically was below our station, and what favorite little treat did I have in my pocket during the performance, it's just going to be fun. It's just going to be interesting. So this is my bonus. It's your Christmas survival kit. It actually will give you a timeline, a joy-preserving timeline that you can start right now. And there are little things that you can do July, August, September, October, even November, and then the first, second, and third week of December, and then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Just things to really prompt you, help you keep on task. Here are some interesting decluttering questions that you can use not just at the holidays, but anytime, because it's good to get decluttered before the holidays because it's cleaner, it feels less chaotic, and you make room for new things. If you decide that you want to participate with a clutter-free Christmas, here are 9 different categories of things that you can use. And this is a super fun self-care bingo that you can keep yourself on track the whole time. So I just wanted to read to you my last little thing, that the reason I painted these humble little sheep beneath the guiding star is because it commemorates not just the night that Christ was born, but also the legacy that I want to leave behind. A life marked with peace and worship and presence with a C. If you want to bring your legacy to life this year, you can certainly use some of these suggestions. I'm going to bring you up just a little bit. Oh, goodness, sorry. And there's no batteries needed when you go with a clutter-free Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you're planning on making each of these projects all day today. And next coming up is Loretta with Art on Wings 423. And she's got a really cool project for you too. And I hope that you're enjoying. Let us know what you think about the Create-a-thon. And it's not too late to invite your friends. So thank you so much. Merry Christmas in July. See you later.